Time now for Trending Now, and Olamide Odekunle is standing by to bring us up to speed with some interesting stories. Olamide, good morning.
Good morning, guys. I'm going to take it right away.
Absolutely.
Good morning, everyone. As usual, TVC has a finger on the pulse. So if something is trending, I am definitely going to be talking about it here on Trending Now. And our first story is a gruesome one. A tragic domestic dispute in Ado-Ekiti has ended in the deaths of a couple identified only as Caleb and Tate. In a gruesome fight that has shocked residents of the state capital, according to reports, Caleb, a security agent, was fatally attacked by his wife, Tate, who allegedly cut off his private parts. In retaliation, he stabbed her multiple times on her head, neck, and private parts, leading to her death as well. Now, the exact cause of this violent altercation remains unclear, but sources are saying that their bodies have been deposited at the morgue of a popular hospital in Ado-Ekiti. Can you imagine that? A couple found by people dead, killed each other gruesomely. I'm going to take some tweets. EJ says, love is the deadliest of all emotions because it is a cocktail of the bad emotions, fear, lust, jealousy, wrath, and pain. Cyberplunk says, the rate of murder and crime coming out of the Southwest is glaring. Has it always been like this, or was it being underreported? And finally, Fashi says, I visited the scene and it was bloody as the husband, who is a police officer, was lifeless with his wife. It was their kids that even noticed blood coming out of the room that they both slept in alone. The husband is an ASP, and I know him very well, but I am shocked that they did this to themselves. Unfortunately, because the photos are so gruesome, we are not able to display them to you, the general public. But if you have time, go and see that. It is extremely scary and disheartening to see. In my next story, the Ekiti State Police Command has arrested 23-year-old Solomon Fabiyi for allegedly attempting to use his 7-year-old nephew, Jomiloju, for a money ritual. Now, according to the Superintendent of Police, Sunday Abutu, the state police spokesperson, Fabiyi lives with his parents and the young boy in Ado-Ekiti, and he was apprehended on Friday before he could carry out this heinous act. Now, the herbalist is said to have alerted the police when Fabiyi brought the child to be used for the ritual. That is so ironic. You carry someone for money rituals, and it's the herbalist that reports you. Crazy. Shegun Oladejo tweeted, a 23-year-old boy wants to be driving Benz. Yoruba Ronu. GPM says, if you ask what work he is doing, he won't be able to say anything. You're 23-year-old looking for money by all means. This guy turned to a young adult on his 18th birthday, and at 23, he's already finding money by all means. Which effort has he taken before 18? Ugh. And finally, Double Chief had this to say. He says, Kanikpe, this one successful ni. He would be claiming techie and crypto guy, claiming the most successful youngie. Kashama Rora with these young guys. They are desperate and greedy. This is indeed a tale of greed, as we can see. I mean, you have a nephew that you've been raising for 7 years. You've been living in the home with him, and Veronica and Ibrahim, and you have the chutzpah and the hubris to take him for money rituals. What godlessness.
Fortunate that this is happening again. Family member doing this to a family member as well. It goes to show that the depth and the crave for wealth is going beyond just picking anybody from around the vicinity, that people are now looking inwards to their family. It's quite scary as it is. Unfortunately, this is happening to someone who is just 23 years old, who should be thinking about how to, get better in education and how to build his life. He's looking to rituals, but it's kudos to the herbalist who decided to report him. Perhaps he knew the families of this person, and he decided, you know what, I will expose you. And that was a good one. To the couple who killed themselves, the stories, there are divergent reports with regards to what happened, because a lot of persons came to see that these persons were dead. Some are saying perhaps it was an attack, but the truth of the matter is still not known. My concern are the children that they left behind. what the situation will be for them right now, who has kept them in custody and who raised them. It's a sad and unfortunate incident.
For the 23-year-old guy who wanted to become so overnight, so rich, I don't know, is it peer pressure? Is it mental? Is it, I don't know, because if you look at the era, is the era of this, exactly, the era of social media where people flaunt riches, they watch movies, they see musicals, and they see how these guys, flaunt monies, flaunt riches, and all of that. We should begin to clamp down on how some of these things, are displayed. You see young kids, spraying money, doing anyhow. I don't know. Where is our values? Where do we keep our values, rather? Our parents, what are they saying? What kind of, education are they imparting in these young kids? There's a whole lot that we need to do. This is really, really moral decrepit, honestly. It's
extremely unsettling to see that these cases are so personal and they're happening within family units. It's a shame. In our next story, in a decisive move against rising insecurity, the Edo State House of Assembly has passed the State Kidnapping Prohibition Law 2025, prescribing the death sentence for convicted kidnappers. Now, this bill was passed during plenary on Tuesday as a response to the escalating wave of abductions in Edo and across Nigeria. A hard stance by the Edo State House of Assembly. Mezier tweeted, "What sentence did they pass for public funds embezzlement? Any bill for the unnecessary loan approvals for the governor?" Just Anthony says, "Nice decision. In 2024, kidnapping was too much in Benin City. My friend and my pastor were kidnapped in the same day. Now God help us, truly." And finally, Sunday says, "That is a big decision. I guess they are trying to send a strong message. Kidnapping has become a serious issue, so I see why they are taking extreme measures. I love when the Nigerian government speaks the language of the law. That is the strongest message that they should always send out." In one of our final stories, this is a feel-good story. Age is just a number for 94-year-old Ado-Ekiti, who has registered for the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, the UTME. He's proving that education has no expiry date. His inspiring story was featured in the latest bulletin of the JAMB board, where he expressed gratitude for finally getting the chance to pursue tertiary education. He's 94 years old, guys, and he's writing JAMB. What's your excuse? And in international news, the United States mission to Nigeria has announced that the U.S. government will investigate how past aid given to Nigeria and other countries was utilized. This revelation was made via a post on the mission's verified X handle yesterday, following allegations by the U.S. Congressman Scott Perry that USAID has been indirectly funding terrorist organizations, including Boko Haram, with as much as $697 million annually. And finally, do you have a story that you think we should cover on Trending Now on TVC? Or do you just want to join in and chime in on the conversation? Tag us with the hashtag TrendingNowTVC on any social media platform. I promise that we are listening. I'm going to take tweets for the USAID story right now. The U.S. is investigating past aid means Nigerian government will have some serious explaining to do. Hopefully, this leads to better oversight and ensures that future aid actually benefits the people. It's important that the money goes where it's needed. Yes, and Olaifa tweeted, "Some people are laughing and jumping until the investigation affects their own person. Story go change. Let the investigation begin." And finally, North Star says, "Good news. Grill them, track the funds deep into their microwaves, and every side chicks they sent it to." Do you have proof for that, North Star? Well, this is all very interesting. I'm very curious as to, do you guys think, Veronica and Ibrahim, that this USAID audit they're planning to do on the funds that went to Nigeria will ruffle some feathers?
Well, I think it should, and it would. At the end of the day, it's an investigation, and I hope they get to the root of the matter. How they are carrying out that investigation, if they are sending in some people into the country to ensure that they get to the root of it, it's very important with the various stories we have been hearing about how these funds were utilized, I think those rumors have to be quelled by we getting to the root of the matter. So it's very important because that will also show transparency in what the US wants to do in terms of helping countries like Nigeria address some issues that the country themselves cannot necessarily address, especially with this aid coming in. And then for the 94-year-old who, wrote JAM, I mean, he's trying to fulfill a lifelong dream. And if this makes him fulfilled, why not? We've seen a number of persons who at their old age decided to get back to school for one thing or the other. So kudos to him. I'm happy to see that.
I'm happy with what Edo State is going to be doing with kidnappers, ritualists, and anyone who is found, guilty of perpetrating this kind of crimes against humanity, because this definitely would help a whole lot of people to, stay away from having to kill maybe your fellow human being or even killing an animal unjustly. It's so it's so sad how we go about all of this, but because we've tried everything and it looks like it is not working. So let us. I advocate for something that I support them. No, they have to be fair hearing, really, but it's not that you nab them and then you kill them. No, they have to go through the court process.
But how many of the governors have actually signed this
So because governors are not willing, doesn't mean that we shouldn't do the right thing. See, we complain about so many things. There's a capital punishment is not ideal, is not this, is not that, but in another breath, we keep complaining about, kidnapping, robbery, and all of that. See, if there are bad people, bad eggs in society, why don't you just weed them out so that we have a better society at the end of the day? And the 94-year-old man, kudos to him. Well, I find it very inspiring, but at the same time, it is not your age that matters. It is what you learn that counts. So 94-year-old, I've read a lot of stories about people who are, aged and are still learning. You learn until you die. And I say kudos to the man, kudos to everyone. So Veronica, the man has challenged us.
And I think the story of the 94-year-old man, I think it really begs the question, should education be performative? Do we have to gain something out of it? Or can we simply be educated for the purpose of knowledge? But I also want to raise a concern concerning the Edo State House of Assembly law that was just passed. You guys, there is the issue that Veronica raised, and people online as well. It's one thing to put this bill into law. It's a completely other thing to see governors sign a death warrant. That is what we want to see.
We'll force them to sign it. Yeah. We'll force them to sign it.
How many have you forced?
So we're saying that we want to see
many have you forced?
We keep talking about
this conversation did not begin today.
Yes.
And even in the era of Anini and Co, when they brought these people shoot at sight and do everything, how many people, how did that even curb the activities of armed robbers, kidnappers?
It did curb it.
Come on, Ibrahim.
Compare that time to this time where you just, give them a pat, what's it called, a slap in the wrist. No, come on.
Anyway, let's see how far this would go.
We're watching. We're definitely watching, Ibrahim.
Thank you, Olamide, for bringing us those details. With that is a wrap on the show at this time, but let's let you know that the views and reactions of all our resource persons are theirs and have no connection with TVC News. Up next is Your View with the Ladies, and afterwards this morning with Yori Folarin. To stay safe. Bye for now.